People's Republic of Bangladesh is an independent country in South Asia. After end of the British rule in India, it had part of Pakistan. It became independent in 1971 from Pakistan through a war. Bangladesh independence has declared by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur. Bangladesh history 1947 to 1971. Partition of Bengal, 1947. On 3 June 1947, the Mountbatten Plan outlined the partition of British India. On 20 June, the Bengal Legislative Assembly met to decide on the partition of Bengal. At the preliminary joint meeting, it was decided 120 votes to 90 that if the province remained united it should join the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan. At a separate meeting of legislators from West Bengal, it was decided 58 votes to 21 that the province should be partitioned and West Bengal should join the Constituent Assembly of India. At another meeting of legislators from East Bengal, it was decided 106 votes to 35 that the province should not be partitioned, and 107 votes to 34 that East Bengal should join the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan if Bengal was partitioned. On 6 July, the Sylhet region of Assam voted in a referendum to join East Bengal. Cyril Radcliffe was tasked with drawing the borders of Pakistan and India, and the Radcliffe Line established the borders of present-day Bangladesh. Union with Pakistan. The Dominion of Pakistan was created on 14 August 1947. East Bengal, with Dhaka as its capital, was the most populous province of the 1947 Pakistani Federation, led by Governor-General Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who promised freedom of religion and secular democracy in the new state. East Bengal was also Pakistan's most cosmopolitan province, home to peoples of different faiths, cultures and ethnic groups. Partition gave increased economic opportunity to East Bengalis, producing an urban population during the 1950s. Khawaja Nazimuddin was East Bengal's first chief minister, with Frederick Chalmers born its governor. The All-Pakistan Awami Muslim League was formed in 1949. In 1950, the East Bengal Legislative Assembly enacted land reform, abolishing the permanent settlement and the zamindari system. The 1952 Bengali language movement was the first sign of friction between the country's geographically separated wings. The Awami Muslim League was renamed the more secular Awami League in 1953. The first Constituent Assembly was dissolved in 1954. This was challenged by its East Bengali speaker, Maulvi Tamizuddin Khan. The United Front coalition swept aside the Muslim League in a landslide victory in the 1954 East Bengali legislative election. The following year, East Bengal was renamed East Pakistan as part of the One Unit program, and the province became a vital part of the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization. Pakistan adopted its first constitution in 1956. 3 Bengalis were its prime minister until 1957, Nazimuddin, Muhammad Ali, and Sohrawardi. None of the 3 completed their terms, and resigned from office. The Pakistan Army imposed military rule in 1958, and Ayub Khan was the country's strongman for 11 years. Political repression increased after the coup. Khan introduced a new constitution in 1962, replacing Pakistan's parliamentary system with a presidential and gubernatorial system, based on electoral college selection, known as basic democracy. In 1962, Dhaka became the seat of the National Assembly of Pakistan, a move seen as appeasing increased Bengali nationalism. The Pakistani government built the controversial Kaptai Dam, displacing the Chakma people from their indigenous homeland in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. During the 1965 presidential election, Fatima Jinnah lost to Ayub Khan despite support from the combined opposition alliance which included the Awami League. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1965 blocked cross-border transport links with neighboring India in what is described as a second partition. In 1966, Awami League leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman announced a six-point movement for a federal parliamentary democracy. According to senior World Bank officials, Pakistan practiced extensive economic discrimination against East Pakistan, greater government spending on West Pakistan, financial transfers from East to West Pakistan, the use of East Pakistan's foreign exchange surpluses to finance West Pakistani imports, and refusal by the central government to release funds allocated to East Pakistan because the previous spending had been under budget. Though East Pakistan generated 70% of Pakistan's export revenue with its jute and tea, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested for treason in the Agartala conspiracy case and was released during the 1969 uprising in East Pakistan which resulted in Ayub Khan's resignation. General Yahya Khan assumed power, reintroducing martial law. Ethnic and linguistic discrimination was common in Pakistan's civil and military services, in which Bengalis were underrepresented. 15% of Pakistani central government offices were occupied by East Pakistanis, who formed 10% of the military. Cultural discrimination also prevailed, making East Pakistan forge a distinct political identity. Pakistan banned Bengali literature and music in state media, including the works of Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. A cyclone devastated the coast of East Pakistan in 1970, killing an estimated 500,000 people, and the central government was criticized for its poor response. After the December 1970 elections, calls for the independence of East Bengal became louder. The Bengali nationalist Awami League won 167 of 169 East Pakistani seats in the National Assembly. The League claimed the right to form a government and develop a new constitution but was strongly opposed by the Pakistani military and the Pakistan People's Party, led by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. War of Independence. Liberation War. The Bengali population was angered when Prime Minister-elect Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was prevented from taking the office. Civil disobedience erupted across East Pakistan, with calls for independence. Mujib addressed a pro-independence rally of nearly 2 million people in Dhaka on the 7th of March 1971, where he said, "This time the struggle is for our freedom, this time the struggle is for our independence." The flag of Bangladesh was raised for the first time on the 23rd of March, Pakistan's Republic Day. Later, on the 25th of March late evening, the Pakistani military junta led by Yahya Khan launched a sustained military assault on East Pakistan under the code name of Operation Searchlight. The Pakistan Army arrested Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and flew him away to Karachi. However, before his arrest, Mujib proclaimed the independence of Bangladesh at midnight on the 26th of March, which led the Bangladesh Liberation War to break out within hours. The Pakistan Army and its local supporters continued to massacre Bengalis, in particular students, intellectuals, political figures, and Hindus in the 1971 Bangladesh genocide. The Mukti Bahini, a guerrilla resistance force, also violated human rights during the conflict. During the war, an estimated 0.3 to 3 million people were killed, and several million people took shelter in neighboring India. Global public opinion turned against Pakistan as news of the atrocities spread. The Bangladesh movement was supported by prominent political and cultural figures in the West, including Ted Kennedy, George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, Victoria Ocampo, Andre Malraux. The concert for Bangladesh was held at Madison Square Garden in New York City to raise funds for Bangladeshi refugees. The first major benefit concert in history, it was organized by Harrison and Indian Bengali satirist Ravi Shankar. During the Bangladesh Liberation War, Bengali nationalists declared independence and formed the Mukti Bahini, the Bangladeshi National Liberation Army. The Provisional Government of Bangladesh was established on 17 April 1971, converting the 469 elected members of the Pakistani National Assembly, and East Pakistani Provincial Assembly, into the Constituent Assembly of Bangladesh. The Provisional Government issued a proclamation that became the country's interim constitution and declared equality, human dignity, and social justice as its fundamental principles. Due to Mujib's detention, Syed Nazrul Islam took over the role of acting president, while Tajuddin Ahmed was named Bangladesh's first prime minister. The Mukti Bahini and other Bengali guerrilla forces formed the Bangladesh Forces, which became the military wing of the provisional government. Led by General Muhammad Ataul Ghani Osmani and 11 sector commanders, the forces held the countryside during the war and conducted wide-ranging guerrilla operations against Pakistani forces. As a result, almost the entire country except the capital Dhaka was liberated by Bangladesh forces by late November. This led the Pakistan Army to attack neighboring India's Western Front on 2 December 1971. India retaliated in both the Western and Eastern fronts. With a joint ground advance by Bangladeshi and Indian forces, coupled with airstrikes by both India and the small Bangladeshi air contingent, the capital Dhaka was liberated from Pakistani occupation in mid-December. During the last phase of the war, both the Soviet Union and the United States dispatched naval forces to the Bay of Bengal in a Cold War standoff. The 9-month-long war ended, with the surrender of Pakistani armed forces, to the Bangladesh India Allied Forces on 16 December 1971.
Bangladesh is free. The people of Bangladesh are free.
Under international pressure, Pakistan released Sheikh Mujibur Rahman from imprisonment on 8 January 1972, and he was flown by the British Royal Air Force to a million-strong homecoming in Dhaka.
আমার জীবনের স্বাদ আজ পূর্ণ হয়েছে, আমার বাংলা মানুষ আজ মুক্ত হয়েছে।
Remaining Indian troops were withdrawn by the 12th of March 1972, 3 months after the war ended. In Liberation War, 3 million Bangladeshi freedom fighters has been martyred. We pay our respects to all the martyred freedom fighters and intellectuals of the 1971 Bangladesh War of Independence.